My McDonald's murder took place on September 25th in 2002. I'm actually going to talk about two cases today that both occurred in 2002, the year that I was assigned for my McDonald's murder case. The first case was three gentlemen trying to rob a McDonald's. First, the three gentlemen walked into a McDonald's, demanded money, robbed the store. They were armed, and as they all were leaving the McDonald's, police arrived. They all basically went in separate directions. Charles Turner was the one who was killed. He was actually killed by police. The other two, Dickens and Golden, ran both in separate directions. Charles Turner had engaged in gunfire with police. He fired the first shot and actually wounded a police dog. I know, it's horrible. He then was fired upon by police and hit in the head and killed. The other two were then found in two separate locations and arrested. Later, they were both charged and being held on two felonies, robbery with a firearm and first-degree murder. The First District Attorney said that they can be held accountable for Charles Turner's death because it was foreseeable, because they were taking part in a criminal act that could lead to death. Like I said, Charles Turner engaged in gunfire with the police. However, he was led to that situation by the two other people. Prosecutors said that armed robbery can lead to a felony murder. The Dickens and Golden's lawyers said that they shouldn't be held accountable for Turner's murder because they are not the ones who pulled the trigger. They later found out that that's not true. Like I said, if it was a foreseeable act that it could have led to death, that yes, they can be charged. What was I going to say? After they had figured out that they were going to be charged with first-degree murder and robbery with a firearm, one of them came forward and said that Charles Turner was his cousin, and that they all three planned the robbery together, and that it was his choice. However, a detective testified that he was forced to take part in the robbery. Therefore, it was their fault that he was there in the first place. Like I said, they were both charged and now are residing in the Tulsa jail. Another McDonald's murder case that I found quite interesting was a 20-year-old chemistry student that had packed his backpack in a mall, and nothing too shady was happening, and then he walked around to a McDonald's, kind of dilly-dallied getting there. The place had families all over, and like Ronald McDonald, the clown dude, was like standing out there talking to the children, entertaining them, and he walked up without saying anything and just kind of blew himself up. He had a homemade bomb in his backpack and killed 7 people and wounded about 100 people. This was in Europe. It was not assumed that it had any sort of terrorist connections. They thought that he was just a civilian kind of acting out. The death toll in this case was 7. It may have risen if other people died due to their sustained injuries, but that is what's on record. And like I said in the first case with Charles Turner, he was the only one that died, so he was the only death toll. The death toll was 1. Both cases kind of sucked. You learn that I learned that you are held accountable in an armed robbery for somebody else's death, even if it was done by a police officer, because that was a situation where that's a possibility. So, yeah, McDonald's murders. Who knew?